once again. Greg Marshall's Western Mustangs are the OUA Goliath, perennial favorites with a decorated history. The Mustang might was on full display last week in the Yates Cup. Keon Edwards ran roughshod through the Queen's defense in a 3-touchdown performance worthy of MVP. Gary Waterman's St. Francis Xavier X-Men are the unbeaten AUS champions with their own record of excellence. Two brothers in arms, MVP quarterback Silas Fignon and wide receiver Isaac Fignon, have a fraternal connection through the air. The X-Men bonds are strong, but the Mustangs are a tall order. It's the national semifinals. Today, St. Francis Xavier faces Western in the Mitchell Bowl. The road to the Vanier Cup and the 2021 Mitchell Bowl are brought to you in part by Wilson, the official football of U Sports, Nike Team, Just Do It, the Government of Canada, Veriburn Medical Supplies, and by Fox 40, celebrating a decade of the Fox 40 U Sports Coach of the Year Awards. From the snowy campus of Western University in London, Ontario, it's the 2021 Mitchell Bowl on a chilly afternoon in Southern Ontario. Today, the OUA champion Western Mustangs meet the best team from the AUS, the St. Francis Xavier X-Men, for the right to go to the Vanier Cup. The weather says playoff time. It's -3. There's a skiff of snow on the ground and a nip in the air. I'm Mark Lee with Justin Dunk and Carlton Raven defensive coordinator Paul Eddie Saint-Villiers. The Mustangs beat Queens 29-0 last week in the first Yates Cup shutout in 50 years. They're home today with the best running game in the country, Justin, led by the Yates Cup MVP, Keon Edwards.
Edwards was a guy that didn't initially dress for the Western Mustangs when he arrived on campus, but has worked his way to get atop that depth chart. He'll grind you down. He's tough, he's physical, and did it to Queens last week with 3 touchdowns to be the Yates Cup MVP.
The Western defense forced 8 turnovers last week against Queens. This man, sackmaster Deontay Knight, strikes fear in opposing quarterbacks, and Coach Polo, he sets the tone on that D-line.
Oh yes, 6 sacks in 7 games, 7.5 tackles for loss, so he's a force. You want to double him, while the rest of the defense gonna make the job. Nick Terrio, Riley McDonald, so those guys gonna be serious.
St. FX was picked to finish last this year after going 2-6 and falling to the bottom of the 2019 standings, but they're unbeaten. A big win over Bishops in the Loney Bowl, and the Fagnon brothers helped fashion that dramatic turnaround. Silas at quarterback and Isaac, one of his receivers.
They grew up together throwing the ball around in small Bonnyville, Alberta. Their first love, actually, Mark, was hockey, but here they are today on the national stage with a chance to put St. FX back in the Vanier Cup for the first time in a long time.
Defensively, the X-Men are led by 5th-year linebacker Ben von Muhldorfer. He's been here before. This is his 4th appearance in a national semifinal. He's the leader of that defense, Coach Polo.
Yes, AUS All-Star in 2021. He's the leader, the only captain in that team. That speak a lot about the kid, but talk a lot about how important he is for the defense in that team.
There's lots of brotherly love on the football field here today as we go to the sidelines and welcome the 4th member of our team, Signa Butler.
Well, Mark, you mentioned brothers on the same sideline. How about brothers on opposite sidelines? That's the case of Ben von Muhldorfer, who you just talked about. His brother Max is a freshman defensive tackle on the Western sideline. And these brothers coincidentally wear the same number 55. And they're 6 years apart, so they never played with or against each other growing up in Calgary. But back in the summer, they talked about the potential of meeting here at the Mitchell Bowl. Max said Ben has been his role model and taught him how to be tough, while Ben said he's been so impressed at how much his brother has grown both as a person and as a player. And speaking of growing, you know, Max was only in grade 7 when Ben left for St. FX in 2015, and he's now got 2 inches and 70 pounds on his big brother. By the way, the parents are here today. The inevitable question is, who are they cheering for? Mark, back to you.
Thank you, Signa. The coin toss at center field. There's former CFL Commissioner Doug Mitchell. And St. FX and the Mustangs for the official coin toss. And the X-Men win the toss. They have decided to defer. And Western will receive. So Doug Mitchell, his wife Lois, former Lieutenant Governor of Alberta, on the center field for that coin toss. As we look at Greg Marshall in his 15th year as Western's head coach. He's won 21 Yates Cups as a coach and player. And Gary Waterman, his 13th season as head coach of the X-Men. He's done it all. He's been their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, and special teams coach. And now he has this impressive turnaround season with his team in the national semifinals. Keon Edwards to receive this opening kickoff from his own 15-yard line, punishing the special teams of the X-Men. Von Muhldorfer making an early impression as he makes the tackle for St. FX. There's the rookie quarterback, Evan Hillock, who took over in week 3 at halftime and has not lost a football game since. He's got a wicked arm and he's full of confidence. Coming into this game, he says, yeah, I'm super confident. I'm ready to go.
And the huddle felt it when he came into that week 3 game against Laurier. They said the total feeling around the offense changed. Let's see what he can do on the national stage.
Western with that big offensive line, 3 first-team OUA All-Stars. They like to run the ball down your throat and wear down opposing defenses. They'll open their first series of this Mitchell Bowl at their own 30-yard line on this brand new field turf stadium
on the field
turf.
by the field judge.
Great looking conditions here as they managed to get the snow off the field yesterday and into the night to give these athletes the best track to run on.
Greg Marshall said actually some of the non-dress players were out helping clearing the snow, so a full team effort from Western.
Hillock out of St. Thomas More High School in Hamilton. 3 times they were #1 in the country. Keon Edwards going off tackle right on first down, has some daylight, and he'll be close to a first down as Kyle Rudder makes the tackle. It will be 15 yards and a first down.
Keon Edwards off the right side. You can see big number 67 for the Mustangs there in your screen. Zach Fry with a pancake to get it going.
Edwards with those 3 touchdowns on the ground last week in the Yates Cup. He'll get the handoff on first down, and look at the get right through the middle, through the heart of that X-Man defense.
Edwards already doing damage early on, and this is what he did against Queens a week ago, right down the middle.
Yeah, exactly. You see that offensive O-line dominate the D-line. So with that 34 front, they need to be more solid and protect the outside.
So Edwards on the ground early, couple of first downs. Trey Humes now in to give Edwards a breather as the Mustangs move across midfield. It's Trey Humes, the Mustangs cutting a swath through the interior of that X defense. He'll be close to another first down as Greg Marshall continues to stay on the ground.
Just straight ahead for the Mustangs. You can see creating a crease in the middle of the line of scrimmage there, gashing this X-Men defense to start the game on the first drive.
Zane Brooks, the 5th-year linebacker, making the tackle for St. FX. They'll throw for the first time. Hillock for Griffin Campbell on a short gain as he hits the turf to end that play, and Hillock completes his first pass of this national semifinal as we take a look at this defense for the X-Men led by 5th-year linebacker Ben Von Muhldorfer. It's an aggressive defense. The question is, can they pay the price here today? Will they be worn down, Polo?
Well, the front 7 has to be solid, and they need to make plays in the backfield.
Humes running off tackle right. And for the first time, the Western run game is kept to a moderate game, but it is enough for the first down.
Again, the chains moving here. This puts a young rookie quarterback in a favorable situation going against a veteran defense. You see Von Muhldorfer there in the middle of your screen. His unit needs to step up now and be physical to get Western off the field.
Yeah, the D-line needs to be more solid.
Western threatening on their opening drive of this first football game. Edwards is back in the Mustang backfield. He'll take the handoff going wide left, and that has been sniffed out. There's a flag on the play. Brandon Martin makes the tackle for the X-Men, but flags fly as this defense begins to stiffen.
Yeah, this is a solid play right now. This is the problem that they have the previous plays. They have nobody outside. On that play, they solidify the outside. They make the play. Number 61, I think, on the holding.
Yeah, 61, Eric Anderson, the left tackle, the rookie. It'll be a 10-yard penalty for holding. Our referee this afternoon, Henry Chu.
Holding, Western, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
So we're seeing this X defense begin to stiffen as they get backed into their side of center.
It's been the last two snap. They be in 5-man pressure, so they need to hold the outside and hold their ground and be physical in their gaps.
Edwards back in at running back. Play action. Complete to Savon Magne-Jones, and the shifty receiver breaks the first tackle. And he'll have a gain of about 6 on the play as Bentley makes the tackle from his field cornerback position.
We can see the X-Men getting a little bit of confidence here, right? There was the holding on Alex Fedchuk, the talented defensive end on the previous play. Right here, they play downhill football in the secondary, rallying to get Magne-Jones down to the turf.
Magne-Jones leading the OUA in yards per catch, yards per game this year. 101.2 yards per game, has his first catch of the game. Here's Edwards on the ground. Edwards right up the gut. And Ben von Muhldorfer, the veteran linebacker, makes contact to hold Western. Looks like they'll be short of that first down.
Big stop right now for the set effects that Seri needs to stop, and number 55 stand up for that defense.
Von Muhldorfer in the middle there, you can see going to the legs of Edwards. That's going to be critical today. You can't tackle him up around the shoulder area. Got to make a sure tackle around his legs.
So Edwards stopped, 3rd down, and Brian Garrity will attempt this field goal from 35 yards out. The rookie kicker from London was good on 79% of his attempts this year. Ball is out, down, kicked, and McGarity is wide right from 35. It'll be carried out of the end zone. Farrell Yakum Kenfak brings the ball out of the end zone. The X-Men will get it on the 20 when we come back to the 2021 Mitchell Bowl from London, Ontario. Back in London, there's Silas Fenyon, the third-year university student, but he's a first-year quarterback and unbeaten in his opening season of AUS football and in the biggest game of his life from Bonnyville, Alberta. First down at the 20. X will go to the air and nearly intercepted as Kojo Odum stepped in front of that pass intended for Zachariah Kareem.
You can see there on the outside, just an option route, sit-down hitch route. And that's a good ball from Keon to start, but the receiver's got to battle back to the football. You got to want it out there.
O'Doom, one of the most highly recruited defensive backs in the country from a couple of years ago, playing that boundary cornerback position. 2nd and 10. Pressure on Fagnon, scrambling, and they'll get him. Fagnon devoured by Austin Fordham-Miller for a loss on the play. And the X-Men will be forced to punt as this big defensive line rises up for Western.
Yeah, number 90, they need to take care of him because he's been a force. Last week, he got 6.5 tackles, so he's a quiet player, but he's making a lot of play for that defense.
Loss of 6 on the sack.
Deontay Knight got that started right, started Fagnon to move in the pocket.
Max Capriotti to punt for the X-Men. Standing at his 1-yard line, and he will back into the end zone and take a knee to concede the safety. So the Mustangs are on the board as they back up the X-Men on their opening drive of this football game. Capriotti, who does both the place kicking and the punting for the X-Men, and Gary Waterman's team beginning to feel the might of that Western defense, that very strong defensive line that Coach Marshall was saying has the ability to stuff offensive lines and keep blockers off his linebackers.
Yeah, for sure. The middle of that defense, number 90 and number 97, Michael Hines, gonna be a problem for that offense and through the game.
Trey Humes at running back. First down Western at their own 35. It will be the give to Humes. A little stutter step, and Humes is brought down by Alex Fedchin, who tried to strip the football. But Humes into the heart of that X defense.
Fedchin off the end, an AUS All-Star, a guy you want to watch all day long if you're watching at home. 94 can make a lot of plays, can affect the passer, but also physical in the run game, and he'll need to be for a full 60 minutes against this ultra-physical Western offense.
And there's an injured X player. Looks like Joshua Brown, the nose tackle on that 3-man front, and a big piece of this defense. He's a transfer from Waterloo in his 5th and final season.
Yeah, they're going to need him on that defense because against that Westerns that's running the ball a lot, the nose tackle is really important on that defense. So on the last play, you see 94 and 55 to AUS All-Star, and now we're going to need somebody to replace number 99 for the couple plays.
Looks like he was just poked in the eye, so hopefully shake it off.
Clearly injured to the face as Brown, having trouble seeing, his eyes watering as he makes his way to the sideline.
Bit of a bloody nose there too, maybe.
Looked like he went one-on-one with Big Elliott Beamer, the center for the Mustangs, who call the fronts for Greg Marshall and is the ringleader, if you will, of that big O-line.
He really is. He talked about how much they dedicate themselves to running the football and being tough in the middle. Coach Marshall said it's essentially like having another coach on the field. They trust him that much.
So a gain of 7, make it 2nd and 3 Mustangs. Wanati, the 3rd running back. Edward Wanati is into the game, and I don't know if he got there. He got hit right at the 45. And he might be just shy of the first down.
Again, you can see on that play, number 94 that's starting to play right now. We need him to be present. We need to see him more during that game because 94 is an AUS All-Star and Santa Fe need him.
This is what makes Western so lethal. They've got not 2 running backs, but 3 running backs who could start pretty well anywhere in the country.
And I can tell you as a defense coordinator, that's an addict.
3rd down and the length of a football, and Western will go for it. Jackson White is in at quarterback, the bigger QB, the backup, and he will move the pile on the quarterback sneak for a Western first down.
And Greg Marshall is used to this. 3rd down does not scare him, especially 3rd and inches. He's going to keep his offense on the field. And watch out for this as the game goes along, because even if it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, he'll keep the offense out there because he has that much faith in this unit.
White was the starting quarterback to begin this season, but lost his job in week 3 at halftime to the rookie, Evan Hillock. Back in the game at quarterback for Western, first down. Hillock, his 2nd throw to the flats. Griffin Campbell is wide open. He has the ball, a straight arm takes Martin down before Bentley forces him out of touch.
Hillock already looks comfortable to me for a first-year starter, the OUA Rookie of the Year in a national semifinal, just slinging it in rhythm. Both of the passes we've seen gone to Campbell. That is simple. Out route creates separation, a little stiff arm swagger at the end.
Hillock, former pitcher with an 85-mile-an-hour fastball. Keon Edwards back in the football game. Edwards off tackle. Daylight. Now he's into the secondary. Keon Edwards on his horse. Wrestled to the ground by Kyle Rutter.
Definitely on the defense. On the defensive side for Santa Fe, we need to set the edge. We need to keep those guys inside and tackle.
Gain of 34 on the play. First down at the 12.
Edwards with a slashing run off the left side. All kinds of wide open spaces, and you can see he's a physical dude, but when he gets in the open field, he can turn up the gears there. Great job of the Mustangs up front, creating a massive lane to run through.
Edwards led the country this year with 139 yards a game on the ground. From the 12, Trey Humes, first down. Western, look at that sideward move. A flag on the play as Von Muhldorfer makes the tackle, but look at the lateral ankle-breaking shiftiness we see from Trey Humes.
Humes making not one, but two guys miss in a phone booth. That agility is one of his trademarks as a runner.
Here's the call from Henry Chu.
Holding, Western. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
So that's the second holding call we've seen on this Western offensive line. They'll move it back to the 22-yard line.
I think this is what they need to do. If the D-line go vertical, they're gonna create those holding, so that's gonna help them. But if they stay and work on their side of the defensive side, you're gonna have a long day.
Rare occasion where that X-defense has forced the running back from Western to go left or right. Humes stays in at running back. He gets the call, off tackle right, still on his feet. Look out! Trey Humes across the 5, barreling to the end zone, touchdown! 22 yards to pay dirt. Trey Humes, the fifth-year senior. Looks like he's going to hang on to that football.
Certainly, what a run by number 4 to the outside, setting up his blocks, staying on his feet, showing you all the traits that he has as a running back. You can see it gets through that tight hole, makes the guy miss, and then it's a dash for the corner of the end zone, and he's in there for the Mustang touchdown.
That run was really impressive. The O-line work, get to the second level. The running back made them miss tackle. Impressive run. I have to give them credit.
The point after Brian Garrity is good, and Humes is feeling it here today. 22 yards sloshing through that X defense.
You talked about it earlier, Mark, that they really have 2, potentially even 3 running backs that are starting caliber, and Humes, you can see it right here, and credit Hillock with that fake, carrying it out, throwing the ball or acting like he's going to throw it. That affects the defense only slightly, but hey, it helps get Humes into the end zone there. Look at the offensive line pulling around 2 of the big fellas. You see 61 there with a kick-out block, Eric Anderson, to help spring Humes get into the end zone, and then a little spice at the end, showing the swagger. Ball to the camera.
Well, the early going, Western is pushing the X-Men around with this big line, big running game. All 3 of their running backs have carried the ball in the early going of this first quarter. Brian Garrity to kick off for Western. Zachariah Kareem from his own 5-yard line. Kareem nowhere to go, and he is hit hard. Zach Lindley in on the tackle along with Lorenz Bowers-Kane. Malcolm Bussey is the rookie running back, the sensation for X this year. Led U Sports, or rather the AUS, with 666 yards on the ground. Where's number 27? His grandfather Ken wore that back in the 60s in the glory years of the X-Men. First down, St. FX. Bussey takes the handoff, finds some daylight before he gets to the safety. Daniel Valente. There's Ken Bussey, 1963. Part of those championship teams Back in Antigonish, and when Malcolm was courted with some NCAA offers after playing prep school in New Hampshire, he decided to come home and play at St. FX and carry on the family name with 27 on his back. Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Pressure. Fagnon gets the ball away. Oh, and nearly intercepted. Robert Panabaker had the ball hit him right in the numbers.
That was close. You know, that defense, they make, what, 6, 7, 8 turnover last week. They were close to add another one on that one. He dropped the ball. So the quarterback needs to be aware of where those DBs are.
He was looking for his brother there, Isaac Fagnon. Really, the throw wasn't that far off. It's the fact that his brother slipped down to the turf. But hey, if you're defensive back right on the defensive side, you got to get some.
Yeah, you need to close the deal.
Capriati standing at his 6-yard line, has an average this year of 37 yards, his longest 52. He needs a punt here to help swing this field position. Seth Robertson at center field, returning this punt for Western, breaks a tackle. Robertson going down the sideline. He's got some blocks. Colbert was there. Von Muhldorfer, who's doing everything for this X defense, forces him out of bounds, but not until after a 31-yard return.
You can see Western already tilting the field here. They did it with field position and then again on the punt return.
Western threatening again when we come back. Welcome back to Western and to our viewers watching this afternoon on CHCH Television, CBC.ca, and CBC Gem. 9-0 Western in this opening quarter as they've used their size and strength and precision to dominate the X-Men early. Seth Robertson's punt return, 31 yards, sets them up at the X24. First down. Keon Edwards is back in the running back field. He'll take the handoff from Hillock. Left and right, nowhere to go there, and a good stiff punch in the mouth from that X defense.
Yeah, good play calling on that. Is 1st and 10. You're expecting the run. They put a lot of people on the line, so good result on this.
That's what you want to see from the X-Men defense. Rally to the football, gang tackling, not giving any gaps or seams for Edwards to fit through. We've seen him already squeeze through a couple small ones. There was nowhere to go.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Hillock intended for Campbell. He's got it. A nice comeback move. He's got daylight. Campbell to the end zone. Touchdown. A 22-yard pass and run from Evan Hillock to Griffin Campbell for the second Mustang touchdown of this quarter.
Hillock continues to look poised. That pass was on the money, hit Campbell right on the 8, and then look out. Open field cuts from the receiver back against the grain, shows no fear, going back into the middle of the defense, and then he finds Patert knocked into the end zone, but it all counts just the same. I like the little swagger at the end. These Mustangs really feeling it early on.
Point after from Garrity is good, and the Mustangs are up 15-0 on that 22-yard touchdown pass from Hillock to Campbell, who had 2 touchdown catches this season, and a receiver who can stretch the field, and he stretched the defense right there.
Yeah, definitely, and they forced the corner, the field side corner, to make a play out there. Miss the tackle, bad angle. They need to pursue to make the tackle. Unfortunately, the receiver ended up scoring on that play.
Yeah, there was no pursuit from the inside out, and that was really why Campbell was able to go against the grain and get back into the end zone.
Exactly.
Campbell, the 4th-year veteran, this veteran receiving corps that surrounds their rookie quarterback, Evan Hillock. Western with 15-0 lead. And the X-Men have got to find an answer on offense when they get the ball back. Garrity will kick off from his own 45-yard line. Kareem from his own 3 on the return changes his trajectory, will squirt across the 15-yard line. 16-0 Western as they correct the scoreboard. And this St. FX offense, which was dominant this year, a balanced offense, going up against Deontay Knight, who's attracting all kinds of CFL attention, and this very powerful defense.
That's right, his father played in the CFL. Dwayne Knight was most notably the Ottawa Rough Riders, and clearly those genes have been passed down to his son. He's already affected the game on multiple plays today.
Ready, go, hut.
Vigneault handing off to Malcolm Bussey. Bussey straight up the middle, and Nick Theriault makes first contact and the tackle, the 5th-year veteran from Quebec.
Exactly, big play by number 10. He set the tone at last week against the Yates at the Yates Cup, forcing a fumble. So if you don't block him, he's gonna make play. He's gonna make play for that defense, and I think he's the quiet force of that defense.
Gain of 4 for Bussey, the OUS's Rookie of the Year. There's Knight, who injured both his ankles in 2019 and didn't get a lot of playing time, has come back super fit, even stronger here for 2021. Vigneault in trouble, gets away from Theriault, scrambling outside, and he'll go down shy of the first down as Daniel Valente makes the tackle.
Vigneault trying to deal with a free rusher off the edge. You can see Knight getting all kinds of attention on the other side. That's a big-time matchup there. 7 on 65. Gregor McKellar, the left tackle for St. FX, did his job there, but it was pressure from the front side that forced him out of the pocket. You can see these two, their size. That's pro ability right there. Scouts at the CFL level and potentially even the NFL level are going to be digesting this film.
Yeah, McKellar with that D1 body up against Knight. We'll watch that one this afternoon. Capriotti punting to Seth Robertson. Robertson won't have as much real estate this time as he's forced out of bounds at the Western bench as Lockett makes the tackle for the X-Men. A 10-yard return for Seth Robertson and the Mustangs.
You can really see here Western tilting the field. Already 16-0. Favorable field position again here for the rookie quarterback in Hillock, who has not missed a throw yet today. And oh, by the way, they got that running game that just grinds away at you.
Hillock, the OUA Rookie of the Year. Unbeaten in 6 starts so far this year, and it is Edouard Wanati. Wanati dragging ex-tacklers as Alex Fenton holds on and brings them down after a gain of 8 yards. 2nd and 2.
Wanati into the game, and head coach Greg Marshall talked about this with all of us, and he wanted to get number 9 more carries, work him in more. He said it was on him that he didn't get him in more in the Yates Cup and during the regular season. You can see here, this appears to be Wanati's series.
Wanati appears to be the next one in this long ascension of running backs at Western. He gets the ball on 2nd and 1, and he'll haul the ball for another gain of 8 yards to the 35-yard line of the X-Men.
And it might still be in the first quarter, but you can already see this Western offensive line starting to lean, right? They're reestablishing the line of scrimmage 1 or 2 yards down the field into the X defensive front.
Wanati staying in at running back. He's 6'3", 210. Draws comparisons to the great Jesse Lumsden as he runs right through the middle for a gain of about 7 as Von Muhldorfer makes the tackle, but Greg Marshall was saying he reminds me a lot of Jesse Lumpson. One cut and gone with that big body and speed.
Yeah, those tailback are going vertical, and on the last one you can see that D-line starting to be tired. They're playing high, they're playing tired, so that O-line starting to have their rhythm.
Fresh legs at running back. Here comes Trey Humes now for Von Muhldorfer and this defense from Andy Ganesh. Humes has the ball. Humes takes a big shot from Rudder, rolls right through the tackle, touchdown! Running right over Kyle Rudder, 28 yards. Trey Humes with his second rushing touchdown.
Missed tackle on that drive, missed tackle on the last play, and I need to give credit to the running back. He make it to himself, missed tackle and end up in the end zone.
To me, it's not only just a missed tackle, it's the fact that where were the rest of the X-Men defenders? You need to be rallying to the football. Humes lowering the shoulder and the boom on number 11, running straight through that tackle attempt by Rudder and into the end zone. Wide open spaces, the purple ponies are galloping.
Point after is good, and I hate to say it, but it's looking like a boys to men football game early in the Mitchell Bowl.
It really is. This was a major question mark coming into the game. Mark, could the AUS show out in a national semifinal? Well, Trey Humes is showing that the OUA has come to play today. Breaks that tackle into the end zone, showing off to the Western fans in attendance. And the AUS needs to step up here. They haven't been to a Vanier Cup since 2007.
A lot of time in that game, guys. It's still early, but I have to admit that the Western football team look ready to play and finish hard.
Humes, 5 carries, already 74 yards and 2 touchdowns in this opening quarter. 23-0 Western. Garrity to kick off. Kareem from his own 5-yard line, up the near sideline, bracing for impact, and he's drilled by Devin Comer, the 4th-year linebacker, who has returned after a broken collarbone, came back to action in the Yates Cup, but he lost his starting spot to Riley McLeod, the rookie.
Critical offensive series for the X-Men coming up here, down 23-0. You haven't got a first down yet. Silas Vigna has to figure out a way to manufacture something here. Move the sticks a little bit, at least change the field position.
First down, X. Bussey in the backfield. Vigna trying to solve this Western defense into the air, throwing to the flats. It's complete to Benoit Cormier. Cormier takes a lick from Zach Lindley.
Cormier was the X-Men leading receiver during the regular season. That's his first reception on the day. A guy that Vigna has a rapport with, and decent gain on first down. Second and medium should open up the playbook.
Cormier leading the AUS with 68 yards receiving a game. This man is the early star. Humes with 2 touchdown carries. 2nd and 5, X. Oh, a bad snap. And down goes the quarterback, and Deontay Knight with his first sack of the game.
The sack master. Let them feel his presence. Number 7, he was quiet in the beginning of the game, but end up making a sack.
Yeah, part of the reason he was quiet at the beginning of the game because he was getting so much attention, right? He was seeing some double teams. We did see him one-on-one with McKellar, but that time on the right side, the bobbled snap, and Knight pounces all over him.
Running right through Liam McConville, the undersized right tackle, who has great technique but was no match for Deontay Knight.
Yep.
So Capriati standing at his own 5 to punt for the X-Men, angling it out of bounds. It won't get out. At the 50, it's Seth Robertson. Robertson brought down right in his tracks by Braden Martin. So a return of 6. But Western goes back on offense on the St. FX side of the field at their 45. It's Trey Humes to the end zone twice in the opening quarter. It's all Western in the early going of this Mitchell Bowl from London. know?
Jeff, do you got me? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The which one? Valvano? Yeah.
First and 10.
Yeah, got it.
Jack is so good. The first quarter stats brought to you by Wilson, the official football of U Sports. Goose eggs on the St. FX side. No first downs, no total yards rushing when you take some of the losses they've had so far.
And look at Western, 210 total yards in the first quarter alone.
Man, they're dominating the field. They're dominating the time of possession. And they're having their way.
And they dominate the field position also.
So it'll be first down Western for Evan Hillock. Look at the quarterback, the rookie, laughing in the huddle. He is so relaxed, so confident. This kid has gunslinger swagger. He came from the best high school program in the country at St. Thomas More High School in Hamilton. And when he stepped into the huddle after halftime in week 3 against Laurier, the whole huddle kind of picked up. They felt his presence.
Different energy, certainly.
First down Western at the St. Francis Xavier. 45, Campbell, the intended receiver, and the ball is incomplete.
Yeah, I think that play was disrupted by the linebacker. I think number 55. I think on that play.
I believe that's the first
standing in there,
incompletion.
though, against that oncoming defender, that free defender, not shuffling his feet, just a little throw.
Hillock has that great arm, gets the ball away quickly. He'll throw on 2nd and 10. Lots of time. Downfield, and it's complete. Justin Nixon still on his feet, finally wrestled down just shy of the 20-yard line. Clark makes the tackle.
Hillock here, you can see the composure in the pocket, steps up a little bit from that pressure, delivers an absolute strike to Nixon, who Hillock believes is his best route runner as a receiver on the comeback route in the sideline. That's an absolute dart, flashing that arm strength. And remember, he throws a fastball at 85 miles an hour.
Edwards on the ground and chipped up as he crosses the 10. Nathan Caillouette gets a piece of this bruising running back from Western. A gain of 13 and a first down Western in the red zone.
Yeah, right now the St. FX defense have a rough time. When the DBs are making the tackle in the Canadian football, you know your defense is in trouble.
First and goal, Western. Edwards at running back from the 8. Edwards, the handoff outside, cuts upfield, touchdown, untouched, 8 yards, and the third rushing touchdown of this football game for this mighty Western ground game.
Edwards had a massive hole to run through, due in large part to number 67, Zach Fry, his big offensive tackle on the right-hand side, extending and just pushing Vedchun out of the way there. You can see the seam, and St. Francis Xavier not rallying to the football from the inside out. Coach, that's got to bother you.
Yes, for sure. He's a problem right now. We got nobody in the edge. They don't stay in the gap. Like, we need to be more vertical on that offensive line.
How about Grohovac getting to the safety here?
Yes.
Big block on number 1, Nick Clark at the goal line, and we're already seeing substitutions now on that defense as Clark has come in for Rudder.
Exactly, and this is the thing now. The offensive line gets to the second level. Hey, more than that, they're getting to the DBs now.
Oh boy, 30-0. Gary Waterman's team on its heels as Brian Garrity, the rookie place kicker, gets set to kick it off. Isaac Fenya and Zachariah Kareem are back, and wow, Greg Marshall at 30-0 is all business.
He is. He wasn't taking this team lightly, right?
No.
He said this week they practiced and met more than they did for the Yates Cup week. He did not want his Western Mustangs to overlook St. FX.
Garrity puts the ball in the air. Zachariah Kareem from his 6-yard line. Kareem tries to scoot outside. And Devin Comer, the linebacker, having an outstanding day on special teams, makes the tackle for the Mustangs. The band is in full tune.
It's been busy today. That's right.
So, the X-Men tried to go through the air early. They really haven't established the run with Malcolm Bussey, their rookie of the year.
Not yet at all. I think he would be a major key. Bussey is a talent. You said attracted NCAA offers, but they got to find a way to establish some sort of presence on the line of scrimmage.
Silas Fenya hands off to Malcolm Bussey. Bussey bouncing outside. Deontay Knight will make the tackle. This young running back, Bussey, an AUS All-Star, gain of 7.
Bussey, little patience there. You can see the jump cut to the left side when he saw a little bit of a seam. There's a crease there now. Second down, favorable situation. Really the first one of the day for the X-Men.
Greg Marshall said he tried to recruit Bussey, thought he had him, but he chose to stay home in Nova Scotia. 2nd and 3. They need a first down. Bussey on the ground, tackled in the backfield. Linebacker Brendan Murphy, the Will linebacker.
Yeah, big tackle.
Take a loss of 2.
Yeah, big play on that play. 2nd and 3, need to be aggressive. Need a stop on this. Stop him.
Untouched to make the tackle and the loss.
One of the small wrinkles that Western does throw in the defensive game plan. Usually they just rush 4, but there's essentially the will go. Coach, I'm sure you would agree, off the backside there, slashing to make the tackle, just unaccounted for in the X-Men blocking scheme.
Max Capriati to punt from his 10. Campbell backed up to his own 40. Griffin Campbell looking for some daylight. There's a flag on the play as he is knocked to the ground. This might be coming back. A 9-yard return by Griffin Campbell. The Mustangs have had nothing but spectacular field position all afternoon. Back on offense, the body language doesn't look good on this sideline. We're back after this.
During the return, holding Western. 10-yard penalty, first down.
For 11. You got.
Welcome back to our coverage of the Mitchell Bowl here. And Coach Greg Marshall may joke that Antonio Valvano has been at Western as long as he has. He's not too far off. Valvano Valvano's in his 8th year on campus and 5th year of eligibility. Marshall joked yesterday he doesn't know what he'll do when Valvano leaves. And Valvano's not the only 5th-year player who stayed on. Brett Ellerman, Trey Humes, who's having a great game today, also staying on. And Marshall said, you know, what they bring to the squad is immeasurable. It's leadership, it's character, and how they influence and set the example for the rest of the team. Guys.
Signa any longer, and Valvano will be drawing a pension at Western. Keon Edwards is hit right at the goal line. The first big stop of this football game as Nathan Cayuette makes the tackle from the halfback position. No gain on the play.
Exactly. At that point, let's come. Let's come. Let's try to create something and make some tackle. That's the only way to stop that offensive machine.
Nothing to lose now, and smart tackle there down by the legs. That's where you got to go at all these Western ball carriers.
2nd and 10. Play coming in from the sideline. Hillock, the rookie, the OUA Rookie of the Year. With time, pumps once. Now he throws downfield for Griffin Campbell, and it's incomplete. So the Mustangs will be forced to punt.
For the first time?
For the first time here today.
For the first time of the day.
Major win for the X-Men defense. Hillock looking for that double move down the sideline, but throws it out of bounds there. Back shoulder ball looking for Campbell, goes incomplete.
Cam Creechan, the rookie punter, will punt for the first time today. He got pulled in the A's Cup after fumbling the snap and had a couple of shanks. Ready? Creechan hammering that ball, a beautiful spiral. Isaac Fenya brings the ball back by 9 yards. Zach Zinnemersky, the long snapper, making the tackle, but there is a flag on the play. Isaac Fenya, the older brother at 24, 3 years the elder of his brother Silas in this brother combo on offense for X.
Fenya gets up, catches it in the air, and depending on the penalty, I mean, regardless of the penalty, I should say, it's going to be the X-Men's best starting field position of the day.
10-yard penalty, first down.
So the 10-yard penalty will bring St. FX back to its own 30-yard line. So right away they lose the best field position they've had.
Exactly, and this is the game right now. Is the field position.
Can the brothers, the Fenya brothers, get it going? Silas and Isaac is struggling. X offense, pressure down the middle. Ball is incomplete. Intended for Benoit Cormier and broken up by that savvy safety, Daniel Valente Jr.
Nice play on that defense. The reason why it was double. It was double on that play. You can see the safety, the weak side halfback was there. So hey, a one-on-one play by number 28, sorry. Number 28, make a big play.
2nd and 10. Here comes pressure. Pena will keep the ball and run right into Deontay Knight. Knight lights up the first-year quarterback. Oh, baby.
Yeah, he's tough. You can see that the O-line from ZFS cannot handle when the Western bring the pressure. When they come +1 or +2, they cannot handle that pressure.
Zone blitz here. You can see Knight actually drops back in coverage and then comes up to lay a licking on Fenya, that athletic defensive lineman, showing you his abilities all over the football field.
And there were some extracurriculars with the quarterback on the turf.
Yeah.
There always is, right? They like to get shots on us.
Oh boy. Capriati gets his best punt away to Seth Roberts at his 38. Roberts will step out of touch at his own bench at the 50-yard line. So the Mustangs take over at their own 51-yard line, first down in a 30-0 margin. Stopped for the first time on their last series, backed up to their own 30-yard line. And now Edouard Wanadi is in at running back for the Mustangs. Their number 3 back in this three-headed troika. Wanadi gets the call. Look at Wanadi, cut a swath right through the middle of the defense. Wanadi now on his horse and dragged down by Brandon Martin.
Nobody there on that play. Vertical tailback, hit the line, nobody there.
That's the one-cut running ability that Coach Greg Marshall was talking about when he compared at least his body type to Jesse Lumsden, the great back that played at McMaster for so many years under Marshall. Wanati one-cut, wide open spaces, look like big 67 Zach Fry sealing off that last defender to get Wanati way into the secondary without being touched.
Wanati with a 39-yard gallop. Trey Humes now in play action. Hillock gets the ball away to Valvano. Valvano is knocked down, chipped up on the play by Liam Wild, the boundary cornerback. Valvano gets his hands on the ball for the first time this afternoon.
You like to see those players getting a touch on the football. We talked about him. Yeah, he's a fifth-year guy, but he's been there for 8 years, does so much of the dirty work on offense, a lot of the blocking and getting his helmet all marked up, so it's nice to feed those guys when you can get an opportunity.
Gain of 9.5, 2nd and 1. Humes will get the carry. Daylight off tackle right, and he waltzes into the end zone untouched. 10-yard touchdown for Trey Humes. Humes is getting the glory here today, his third waltz to the end zone.
Equaling his running mate there, Keon Edwards, who had 3 touchdowns in the first half of the Yates Cup last week, and you can really tell how Western is dominating on the offensive line when you look at these big fellas. Zach Fry out front, Grayevac just pushing that X-Men defense back almost all the way into the end zone, and then Humes just walks in.
The point after from Brian Garrity is good. It's 37-0.
Humes, simple zone read play to the right, finds a seam and makes an easy cut into the end zone for the trifecta.
In the OUA this season, these Western running backs would punch hard. 3 yards, 4 yards in the early going. And by the third quarter, they'd be getting 10, 12, 15 yards. In this first half, they're getting those second half yardage numbers right away. 84 yards and 3 touchdowns on 6 carries.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And you know what? As a defensive coordinator, seeing those running back, having those carry, those numbers is kind of scary.
Over 10 yards per carry for Humes, and the X-Men really just have no answer. They need to stand up and be more physical.
Well, at that point, you need to go all out. You need to go all out. 37-0.
Zachariah Kareem at his 11-yard line to return. Oh, my goodness! He is hammered by Max Nixon. His helmet comes off, and there's a flag on the play. Kareem took a hellacious hit.
He did. That's likely going to be a targeting penalty. They want to make sure across U Sports and the OUA and AUS that the player's health is top of mind. But Nixon coming downfield like a missile. That's the type of mentality and the intensity that Western has approached this game with from the jump. The X-Men need to match it and up their level.
Max Nixon, the history major in his second year from London. And Zachariah Kareem stays
Head leading tackle, Western.
in the game.
15-yard penalty, first down.
Indeed, a head tackle is the penalty call. You got to be careful. You cannot have helmet on helmet contact. That will these days always draw a flag.
So the intimidation continues to mount in this opening half from Western. Silas Fenya at quarterback, his first year at the helm. He's never lost a game. He'll hand off to Malcolm Bussey. Bussey, a nice move left and right, and then gets into the secondary. And he's brought down by Riley McLeod, the middle linebacker.
Another look at this vicious hit from Nixon coming over the top with his shoulder as well. That's really what took the helmet off, but anytime any part of your body is around that head area, there's going to be a flag.
Make it 2nd and 7, X from their 35. They need something. They need a spark here. Here comes pressure. Fenya throwing to the wide side. It's intercepted. Daniel Valente Jr. steps in front of Silas Fenya's pass.
The reason why that play happened, the pressure to the job. So the quarterback cannot set his feet in the pocket to throw the ball. So the DB, knowing that the pressure is coming, jump around and make the tackle.
It actually looked like a little half roll to the right-hand side, and Fignon was just locked in on his target. Valente Jr., the savvy fifth-year safety, read it, broke downhill, and then the little flash for the camera after the pick.
Daniel Valente Jr. was telling us about the great look he gets. He calls it the Bible. Here's Ellerman with the catch. He'll step out of bounds. But getting back to Valente Jr., he was talking about how Paul Gleason prepares the defense so well. On Tuesday of every week, they get the briefing. They get what they call the Bible. They get all the tendencies, and it was almost like Valente was in the St. FX huddle on that play.
That's right. It's like he knew that route was coming. He saw the half roll from Fignon, jumped the route, got picked.
That was Gleason right there with a smile on his face. Here's Griffin Campbell on the receiving end of that pass from Hillock. A straight arm, gets outside, and he'll have a first down. Thomas Bentley in a hand fight with the receiver, but a gain of 14, and it's first and goal, Western.
Hillock throwing another timing route. He hasn't seen a ball hit the ground today. A simple hitch route from Campbell on the outside, trying to make moves to get into the end zone, but 22 wrestling him down to the turf. Bentley with the tackle.
Edward Wanati is in at running back. Second, or rather first goal. Mustangs. Wanati takes the handoff right up the middle. Touchdown, Western. A 3-yard rush up the middle as Wanati scores the touchdown. He had 3 during the regular season.
There's a great example of how Western is resetting the line of scrimmage, right? It was first and goal from the 3-yard line. Wainati was not hit until he was into the end zone. So literally the Mustangs offensive line is allowing to push on this X-Men defensive line and resetting it by at least 3 yards.
Yeah, they reset the line of scrimmage. And when you're doing this, it's really tough for the defense to be able to at least save their gap. So you can see that now that O-line is dominant.
The extra point is good as the Mustangs build on their massive margin.
They're going right behind the center, Elliot Beamer, and he talked about how much they want to establish the run game and how important it is at Western. They drill it all the time, and he said most importantly, our head coach is a former running back, an all-star running back in Canadian University football, so you don't want to let him down. When you have an opportunity, you want to get your boys into the end zone so they can strike up the band.
And you can see that it's part of the game plan from Western. And when you're watching, I like to say it is the Western way. Run the ball, kill the clock, fill position. And you can see they're playing Western football right now.
Not turning it over either.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's why they can put a rookie quarterback at the controls. He's got this big O-line, this great running game, and veteran receivers. What a way for a young guy to learn inside that vaunted offense. Here's Kareem. No worse for wear to return. And he's pushed out of bounds. Devin Colmer, the backup middle linebacker, taking the ex-receiver out of bounds. And for all intents and purposes, this game is over with 6.5 minutes to go until halftime. So if you're on the X sideline, what are you telling these kids? How do you pick them up? How do you get them to feel like they belong?
Fight. At least if we're going to end up the season like this, make sure we give them a fight. And have some proud. This is what I like to say to the players. Have some proud.
First down, X. Pignon gets the ball away. It's incomplete. Benoit Cormier was the intended receiver, and right in his shadow was Kojo Odum.
You just need small positives to build on. You can't hurt yourself. Those need to be routine pitches and catches for the X-Men just to build a little bit of momentum here.
We saw this happen with Queens last week in the Yates Cup, especially in the vicinity of Kojo Odum. There was some intimidation, some footsteps perhaps heard. 2nd and 10.
Ready, go!
Western rushing 4. And they still get pressure. Fenya will run. Fenya right up the middle. Zach Lindley will make the tackle. It's a gain of 9 on the play. 3rd and 1, and the quarterback wants to stay on the field.
He certainly does. Feeling a little bit here after he takes a shot from this rush and sees some room up the middle. All right, this is their best offensive play of the day. They're near a first down. I like the call. You're down 44-0. You have nothing to lose here.
So they'll keep the offense on the field. 3rd and 1 at their own 29. Western stacking up the line of scrimmage. Big push from the O-line. This is going to be, oh boy, I'm not sure he made it. Mustangs say it's short. Man, let's look at the spot.
I think he's short.
It is short. Oh my goodness.
It's short.
How demoralizing.
Oh, they give it to them. They give it to them.
Wait.
They give it to them.
What? They got a great spot.
Forward progress. This is the way they call it. Forward progress. A good one.
There's Jim Daly, who's sitting on the sidelines, the special teams coach who was injured last week. Let's look again. Well, you can see
That's actually a pretty good spot.
Yes,
spot.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. So we'll take that back. Here comes pressure from Western on 1st down. Vanier down the middle. Benoit Cormier makes the catch, and he's got an X 1st down. That's more like it.
There's some of that fight Coach Polo talked about. There's your coach, Mark.
Jim Daly, knew him back in the day in Ottawa. Great special teams coach. Was hit by his own quarterback who was driven out of bounds last week and tore his Achilles, or rather his groin muscles, and had some hip injuries. We spent 5 hours in the hospital that night.
Okay.
He's tough. Good to see Coach Daly okay. 1st down. Play action. Vanier rolling. Buying time. It's intercepted. Valente Jr. with his 2nd interception of the game in an ill-advised throw from the 1st-year quarterback.
Vanier trying to direct traffic while he was on the roll there. There was lots of coverage in the area. Should have just thrown that one away.
They get a 1st down, and then they turn it over. Mustangs threatening once again.
Welcome back to the Mitchell Bowl. A commanding lead right now. Western Mustangs up 44-0 against St. Francis Xavier. And we know we've seen some devastating flooding on the west coast of our country. And in this last week, Atlantic Canada was pounded by rain as well. In fact, parts of Guysborough County in Nova Scotia had upwards of 100 millimeters of rainfall. In Antigonish itself, a local trailer park had to be evacuated by boats. Some roads and parking lots were flooded in the Main Street area of downtown. And there was a handful of ex-players living in basement apartments that have experienced flooding as well. They had to be evacuated from their apartments, and they stayed in hotel rooms, put up in other living arrangements. All of this before traveling to London for this big bowl game, guys.
Yeah, our country is getting it on both sides. On both coasts, as Keon Edwards rushes right through the heart of that ex-defense. Ben von Muhldorfer makes the tackle. It seems like he's in on every play.
He's been in there too much, to be quite honest. He needs some help from his defense. We need to see more blue X helmets rallying to the football, because von Muhldorfer, the only captain of the team, the leader of the defense, has been leading the way, but he needs some help.
And this ex-defense is facing fresh legs on every down. Now it's Wanati in the backfield. Wanati gets the call. Big block off tackle. He's into daylight, into the secondary. Wanati to the end zone. Touchdown, Western. Edward Wanati runs 32 yards right through the heart of that X defense.
And the rotation that they're doing with the tailback hurting that defense. They're changing the pace. We don't tackle well on the defensive side, and what a run.
A simple lead tackle trap here on the wide side. You can see Fry pulling around there, but he didn't even have to block anybody on what they call the LTT in football terms. Wanati into wide open spaces as Western really leaning and imposing their will on St. FX.
The convert is good from Garrity. It's 51-0. The running backs are getting the glory, but how about this offensive line?
Well, you can see 67 pulled around there, just had to give a little shoulder block, did Fry, to one of the defenders, and Wanati didn't even need it. He was already off to the races.
There's the damage right there. 3 backs, one already over 100. That's Wanati. Edwards 1 yard away, and 16 more yards, and Humes will be over the century mark. And a total of 6 rushing touchdowns in this opening half.
You put them all together, they're averaging over 10 yards per carry. This Western offensive line absolutely dominant in the first half.
Wanati set to take his spot as a starter next year when Trey Humes graduates. And he's put on a display here today with that Jesse Lumsden-like breakaway when he gets into the secondary.
Not quite there yet, though. Still needs to put together a lot of yardage.
Kareem from his 13-yard line finds a bit of an alleyway where he's stuffed. Spencer Smith makes the tackle on special teams for the Mustangs. And Silas Fenya, who's thrown 2 interceptions, both to Daniel Valente Jr., will go back to work. Return is 16 on the play.
You can see on the last series, though, Mark, that Fenya still had some fire in him, right? He was upset at himself after that interception. He's clearly still fighting, trying to pull these guys along with him.
Led the AUS this year, Fenya did, with 259 yards through the air and passing. Malcolm Bussey runs into his own man. Zach Lindley makes the tackle, but Berto Mill got in the way of that. 2nd and 9 after that gain of 1, and the frustration written all over the rookie Bussey's face.
See, Bussey looks puzzled. Lindley slashing into the backfield there, wrecking that running play, and Bussey finding it much different now, running outside of his conference against an OUA opponent.
They like to motion 81 Mill, get him into the strong side, but he got right in the middle of that play. 2nd and 9. X-Men. They'll pass under pressure now. Fenya rolling right. Fenya gets it away and takes a big hit. And it's out of bounds and incomplete. Wait a minute, they're going to talk about it. It looked like his brother Isaac Fenya got his hands on it. Did he get 1 foot in?
Fenya on the roll. You can see the brother connection there, and might have looked like he just dragged a toe, but smartly the receiving brother Fenya coming back to his quarterback to make a play.
Western.
And
15 yards.
Unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty tacked onto that after Fenya took the hit and his brother Isaac held on for the catch. So a good catch and a 15-yard penalty.
I think the first time that the side effects are going to cross the 50 now and going to be on Western area, so they better take advantage of it.
It is certainly the first time they got across midfield, and it was due to that awareness from Fenya along the sideline. That catch might have been good in the NFL. Looked like he got 2 toes down. A little toe drag swag from Fenya.
So the Fenya fraternal connection and the penalty and the best field position of the game for this X offense. Silas Fenya under pressure, shuttles it ahead to Malcolm Bussey. He was in the grasp Deontay Knight was all over him, but a smooth and savvy play to get the ball ahead.
You can see the fight from Vanier, even though he was in the grasp, as Mark said, he still has his eyes downfield, sees Bussy, flips it to him a la Brett Favre. I feel like made that so famous. The X-Men are fighting here on offense, trying to put together potential point-scoring drive.
Mustangs are getting to the quarterback. He's still got some fight in him. So does Bussy. 2nd and 9. X-Men. Pressure from Western. Ball is away. Cormier makes the catch and dives to the 40-yard line. Jordan Murphy makes the tackle for Western, and it'll be 3rd and 6. Cormier, the leading receiver in the AUS this year, stretching but can't get enough. 3 yards on the reception, and so X will attempt a field goal to try to get on the scoreboard for the first time here today. Max Capriotti will attempt this field goal from the right hash, 47 yards the attempt. His longest this year is 42. Ball is out, down, kicked. It's good. He had enough. And so the X-Men are on the scoreboard. A 47-yard field goal from Max Capriotti. And for those who've traveled all the way, there's the Fenyon parents in the stands. That's Cindy and Mickey, who've made it all the way from Bonnyville, Alberta. They've got something to cheer about here in the first half.
They do finally. Typically they make it out to a couple games a year on the East Coast. It's a long trip coming from Alberta, but they're happy to see Silas Vanier, 3 straight completions, leads to that field goal, the critical one. Isaac Vanier along the sideline. Can't forget that toe drag sweat.
It's 5,000 kilometers from Bonnyville to Antigonish. They're a long way from home when they decided to go to St. FX. Here's Wanati into traffic. He'll stretch for a gain maybe of 2 or 3, and Ben von Muhldorfer is there to make the tackle once again for a gain of 2.
Again, number 55. He don't want to quit. He's still fighting. He's the leader. He's gonna step for his defense and for his team.
He is the leader. He won a leadership award from the Leadership Academy at St. FX, and his name hangs on a plaque in the atrium at their sports hall.
All of the players and coaches raved about von Muhldorfer being that leader. That's the reason why he's the only captain.
Trey Humes, look at the hole. Von Muhldorfer misses the tackle as Alex Fenchen makes the stop for the X-Men. Gain of 5 by Trey Humes. Edging closer to 100 yards on the ground in this opening half. So it's 3rd and 2.
Timeout. St. FX. First timeout of the half.
The X-Men take a timeout, the first chance for them to play some complementary football, right? We've seen the defense stiffen up a little bit here late in the second quarter. The offense goes down, puts 3 completions together from Vanier, the quarterback. They get a field goal. Now the defense comes and potentially forces a 2-and-out unless Greg Marshall has something in his bag of tricks. So slowly some positives are coming here for the X-Men near the end of the half.
Final minute of this opening half. There's Silas Vanier. Gary Waterman taking on Greg Marshall. Both been around this game a long time, have great respect for each other. This has been an absolute baptism by fire in the opening half. Creechin standing at his own 28. Isaac Vanier back to return. Creechin with a great looking punt and out of bounds. No return for Isaac Vanier on the play. Creechin, who had a good week of practice. He was out punting Garrity by 10 yards in the rain. After that bobble last week, had him benched in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, Greg Marshall wanted to show faith in him and go back to him and build a trusting relationship. And we've seen here multiple times today, Creechin turn the ball over, right? Beautiful spirals on those punts. So he's shown that those trophy game jitters have been worked out, at least today.
Long snapper, Zinomirski, and his punter Creechin, rookie out of Chatham. 44-yard punt. Final minute of this opening half. A disastrous half for X. Vanier will keep it on the quarterback draw, and he'll dive across the 30. Be very close to a first down as Riley McLeod makes the tackle for Western.
The X-Men need to hurry up here. 45 seconds left on the clock. Vanier gets some positive yardage here, but the time's going to tick fast. They want to use as much as they can here.
And they far. They deep in their end zone.
Still some fight in this X team. 2nd and 2. More pressure from Western. The ball is away and complete to Cormier. He'll have a gain of 4 and a first down.
Quick rhythm pass there from Vanier to Cormier for a first down. You can see the rhythm coming for Vanier as he's slowly trying to figure out this Western defense moving the chains. I like how after the last play when Vanier had the rush, they were up on the line, ready to go, not wasting any time.
Great play. Vanier didn't even have the laces as he got that ball away. First down. Lots of protection. He wants to go deep and throws it downfield. Intended for his brother Isaac. It's incomplete. Into double coverage. Valente Jr. and Murphy downfield.
I like it though. There's only 23 seconds left on the clock. You take a deep shot down the seam. Yes, it's probably going to be in double coverage, but you go to the guy that you probably have the most faith in your brother, and he had a step there for a second. Little contact there. I know that's from an offensive perspective.
Exactly.
Jordan Murphy and Daniel Valente Jr. blanketing that brother connection from Bonnyville. Isaac Vanier, his brother Silas with 5 seconds on the play clock. They've got to get this off. 2, 1. They just get it off. Vanier trying to set up the screen. It's incomplete. He nearly threw an interception. Nick Terrio, the DN, had his hands on it.
Yeah, he's playing a big game. He's having good pass rush, going vertical, his presence in the run. He's a smart player, see the screen coming.
You could hear the whole Western defense yelling, "Screen!" They knew it was coming and read the playbook. That's part of the Bible that Paul Gleason gives out. They're so prepared.
So well prepared. They knew what was coming. Vanier nearly committed another turnover.
8, 7, 6, 5, 2.
Capriotti from his 25. Seth Robertson will get it at the 41. Should be no yards there as Cayuette was well within the 5 yards. 10 seconds to go as Robertson continues to carry the mail on special teams. But I didn't see a flag on the play, but 21 was well within.
Yeah, it was in the high-low.
He runs around. We're not gonna run a play on you guys. We're gonna do it twice, though. We're gonna do it twice.
Mustangs
Step back offense.
taking a knee as Hillock does. He'll run the clock down. Take one more knee to end this opening half. Hillock takes the knee. That's the final play of the first half in a command performance by these Mustangs. A ground game that shook the earth, and the X-Men heading to their locker room in big trouble after being steamrolled in that first half.
Western just looks so comfortable at home. They're doing their thing on defense, playing very well, letting 4 rush, right, doing their thing over there, and then on offense, running the ball down the throat of the X-Men with whoever really is in the backfield. I think they could put any of us back there. We might average 5 yards per carry.
Well, I will say that the front 7 of Western is pretty dominant. It's tough to run, it's tough to pass it, and those guys, number 23, have 2 picks, always in good position. Every time they bring the pressure, they make the set effects team pay. So, I mean, everything seems to be perfect: offense, defense, and special team.
The X-Men have paid a dear price in this opening half. 51-3 Western. 6 rushing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, an absolute dominating performance from this London team that has become the team of the last half century in Ontario. 35 trips to the Yates Cup. They just won their 33rd Yates Cup.
Now the question is, Mark, if you're Greg Marshall right now, are you putting the backups or you keep going?
Well, football's a hard game to let up, isn't it? I mean, you know, as a coach, I mean, it's really hard to take your team out of a game because you risk getting injured.
That's right. You want to make sure you're rested because next week you're going to get a elite team in Canada, right? You're going to get Montreal or Saskatchewan, so you want to make sure your guys are healthy.
All right, let's go down to the sidelines, and here's Signa.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. With Greg Marshall, and we'll try and get this in under the band in the background, but Greg, very dominant performance, all facets of the game. I'm wondering, would you give the MVP to the ground game or your defensive team?
I don't know.
Right
you
now?
know what? Our defense is really doing a great job. I mean, the one thing that we saw on film is that St. FX had a very productive offense, a great run game, and so, you know, our defense is getting the ball back to us and putting us in really good position.
Now, you know, looking at the score, 51-3 right now, I mean, it's a tough one. Is this when you make some adjustments to your lineup and think about next week, perhaps?
Yeah, no. We've already subbed guys out, but, you know, we're kind of limited to 48 players, so there's only so many subs that we can make. And but we are going to, you know, sub most of our guys out now.
Okay, thanks for this.
Thanks.
The gracious Greg Marshall, his team up 51-3, already putting in his backups. We're at the half of the 2021 Mitchell Bowl from Western Alumni Stadium in London.
The road to the Vanier Cup and the 2021 Mitchell Bowl are brought to you in part by Wilson, the official football of U Sports, Nike Team, Just Do It, the Government of Canada, Veriburn Medical Supply, and by Fox 40, celebrating a decade of the Fox 40 U Sports Coach of the Year Awards.
I got a picture.
Who wants to?
For your house, maybe a nice Chesterfield or an ottoman. If I had $1 million, if I...
Halftime at Western Alumni Stadium, the Mustangs with a 51-3 lead over the St. Francis Xavier X-Men. As we go to the sidelines, and here's Signa with some Olympic greatness.
You got that, Mark. I'm with 2 of the 7 gold medalists from Tokyo 2020, Maggie McNeil and Damian Warner. Both happen to be London-based athletes as well, and braving the cold for us today. Maggie, you know, one of the great moments at the games was your look of awe when you saw your time at the 100-meter butterfly gold medal. World champion, Olympic champion, what's next for you?
Yeah, so in a couple weeks I'm heading to Abu Dhabi for the short course world championships, and then a little break, and then heading into the college season.
Nice. Now I have to ask you probably both the same question, but I'll ask you first. What is it about London that churns out so many athletes?
I'm not sure. I mean, I've always loved London growing up here. I think it's the right size, and it has everything you ever need, from schools to athletic places to definitely hospitals, so everything like that. So I think that's just what helps, and the sense of community here.
Damien, you're the greatest athlete in the world. That is what happens when you win the decathlon at the Olympic Games. Now, do I have this right? You're back training already? You didn't have any rest?
I took 3 months off, but I'm back training. I train here at the university, so just up at Thompson Arena. But yeah, it's nice to be back, to have some sort of a normal schedule and to be working towards something. It's kind of nice.
So obviously you had some time to spend with your son, yes? I have to ask you the same question. What is it about London? I mean, you had some difficulty in terms of pandemic training, but a very supportive community.
Yeah, and I think you answered the question. I think it's the community. We were faced with some pretty tough situations, and the community came together, and they've been there since I was a high school kid, looking to make it to the international stage, and hopefully I have them there for the rest of my career, because I'm going to need them.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching you guys, the World Aquatic Championships and the World Athletic Championships coming up next year. Cheers.
Tremendous athletes who make this country proud. Damian Warner and Maggie McNeil. We're at the half in London, and it's all Western, 51-3. We're back with first half highlights when our coverage continues. A wintry final week of November here in London, the Forest City, with a blanket of snow. Their home team, though, off to the races, leading 51-3 at halftime. Let's take a look at the first half highlights as the teams head out onto the field. Highlights brought to you by Wilson, the official football of U Sports. The X-Men won the coin toss, but that's about it in the first half.
That's right, the ground game took off from the jump for the Mustangs. Trey Humes got him started in at the corner, inside the pylon. Then with Graydon Campbell, open field, cuts to get into the end zone. The only Western passing touchdown of the day because they're doing all their damage on the ground. Humes running through tackles into the end zone, his second of 3 in the opening half, and then a little pose with the fans on the sideline. Western was striking up the band for the opening 30 minutes. Lots of reason to make noise if you're a Mustangs fan. Then Keon Edwards getting into the act. He had 3 touchdowns in the Yates Cup, gets another one in the Mitchell Bowl, and of course the defense on point. Danny Valente Jr. with his first of 2 interceptions in the opening half, and then Edward Wanati into the end zone as this offensive line started to impose their will. Then it was Wanati in the open field, running in nearly untouched until he even got in the end zone for another touchdown in. The X-Men did have a little positive, putting a field goal on the board to avoid a shutout.
Yes, it's been a one-sided football game as we look at the statistics brought to you by Wilson, the official football of U Sports. 384 yards offense for the Mustangs to 84 yards by the X-Men. A 300-yard swing there. 8 2-and-outs. That's been the big problem for the offense. The X offense has not been able to get anything going. It's been a one-sided affair as we go to the sidelines, and here's Signa.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Gary Waterman with me here. And Gary, you know what? It's a tough score today. What was your message to your club in the dressing room?
Well, I said to them, we made it here because we showed heart all year. We have 30 minutes to just show our heart and play as hard as we can. I mean, the score's not where we want it to be, obviously, but we got 30 minutes to play the best we can and leave it all on the field. And that's what I challenge everybody to do.
I'll let you get back to your team. Thank you.
Gary Waterman, the 4-time AUS Coach of the Year. You can see the pain on his face. This has been a tough football game for his team as we get set for the second half when we come back. Welcome back to the 2021 Mitchell London. Greg Marshall's team up 51-3 on Gary Waterman's X-Men. He's already substituting. This has been an absolute blowout, mismatch between the OUA and the AUS. And the X-Men will get the ball to start this second half. Isaac Vanier bobbling it, but he's got his hands on it now across the 15 and then takes a big hit.
Play number 40, I think.
That was Spencer Smith making the tackle. An 11-yard return. You can see that Isaac Vanier is still feeling that.
Yes, that was a big stick, but hey, some small positives for St. Francis Xavier going into the half. They were able to get a field goal, not shut out. We saw Silas Fignon, the quarterback, showing some fight, just like Waterman talked about. He told his team in the locker room.
They're used to being underestimated, but this is an absolute tall order. 51-3 they trail. They were polled, the coaches were in the AUS this year, and they picked this team to finish dead last. And they were unbeaten this year to win the division and win the Loney Bowl. And they opened the second half with a completion on the play to Connor Ross.
Yeah, you can see on the D-line for Western, number 7 is not there. So they're already switching, and Deontay Smith is resting. Deontay Knight, sorry.
Deontay Knight on the bench. They're clearly wanting to keep him healthy. But again, another small positive for the X-Men. Solid gain on first down.
Bussey takes the handoff, finds some daylight, cuts right through the middle of that Western defense before Rory Kelly makes the stop in the secondary. The Acadia transfer, playing at field halfback.
This is what they need to do. They bring the pressure, have a chance to find a small crack on the D-line and get to the second level and have a good run, a positive run.
Bussey sees the hole developing there, just cuts back a little bit, finds the seam.
First down, X-Men. Vanier wants to run, scrambles out of the pocket, he'll keep it. Devin Comer makes the tackle and a gain of 5, maybe 6 on the play. All kinds of backups into the game on defense for Western. Max von Buhldorfer. Von Buhldorfer, the younger brother of Ben on the Acadia, or on the X side, is in on defense. There he is right there, 55. He's an Olympic weightlifter at 290 pounds, 6'2". He's going to be a fixture in the years to come. Alex Veilleux is in for Malcolm Hines at tackle as well. 2nd and 5. Pressure from Western. Throwing deep down the far sideline for Isaac Fenya. He makes the attempt and it drops the football. It's incomplete. And slow to get up. Jordan Murphy, the backup field corner, broke it up, and Isaac Fenya is feeling that.
Fenya running the corner out, and of course his brother Silas pulling the trigger. That ball just hung up in the air a little too long, was the reason why Fenya had to jump and try to come back and absorb that hit going down to the turf. That's why it took him a little bit to get up. If Silas Fenya would have let him out there more to the sideline, it could have been a much easier completion.
Max Capriati stands at his 31. Ben Harrington back, bouncing ball. Seth Robertson will pick it up and step out of bounds at the 33-yard line. So Greg Marshall has pulled most of his big starters out of the defense. We'll see who he leaves in on offense as he invokes the mercy rule here in the second half.
There's only so many guys you can pull, and he talked about it at halftime with Cigna, right? You dress 48 players when you get to the national level, and obviously 24 of those have to be starters.
Jackson White is in at quarterback now for the Mustangs, having lost his starting job in week 3 at halftime when Western trailed Laurier 7-0. Spent 2 years without football to get to Western, transferring in 2019 and then missing the 2020 season with COVID, and then lost his starting job 3 weeks in. It was one of the toughest decisions that Greg Marshall said he's ever made, because Jackson White is a team captain.
He is still, and they've talked about him still being a leader. The Cambridge, Ontario native hasn't put his head between his legs and sulked after the decision, has still led and been a vital guy for this team to help get them to this point behind the scenes and off the field.
It just shows you how hard it is to stay number 1 in this Western outfit. Edward Wanati, the running back now. He gets the handoff from White. Wanati crashing, off tackle, breaking tackle after tackle, and that will be a gain of 10 hard-fought yards.
Showing you his toughness there. We saw his open field running ability in the first half on the big touchdown run, and then he got it done at the goal line as well. But here he can show that he can be a physical runner too.
Exactly, and the thing is, you can see even though number 29 is not there, it's number 35 as a fullback and number 9 as a tailback and a number 2 quarterback. You can see that Western don't want to stop. They want to maintain the standard of Western football, and they keep pounding the Santa Fe defense.
So they'll bring the sticks in for a measurement after that rush by Wanati, and he'll have the first down. Talking of substitutions, X has also made some substitutions on defense with Dylan Blackett and Zachariah Willems coming in to the interior of that D-line. They'll join the veteran Alex Fedchun along that D-line. Western with a first down.
They have no choice at that point. They need to create something and let everybody get some experience on this.
Jackson White, a former starter at McMaster, transferred to Western, held that job for 2.5 games. Back in the second half here. Bonatti takes the handoff. And he'll have 3, maybe 4 yards on the play. Jay Turnsek in to make contact for X, along with Nicholas Schmeiler. So Bonatti, this 6'3", 210-pound running back, getting some extra reps here in the second half, has been sharing the running game with Trey Humes and Keon Edwards. And the big former running back himself, Greg Marshall, continues to punish teams on the ground. 2nd and 6. Play action, Jackson White, big man at quarterback. Look at the daylight he's got. He'll have a first down and more. Cambridge native in his 3rd year of eligibility.
Zone read on the backside, simple for him. The defensive end, or the most outside defender, crashes. He pulls it wide open spaces along the sideline. Smart decision here. You can see it. Very easy and simple read. 72. Dylan Blackett slides down the line as a defensive end. White easily gets the edge for a big pickup.
That was a problem all day. The edge. Nobody on the edge, so they take advantage of it.
Bonatti stays in at running back. The Mustangs, their starters home and cooled. Bonatti takes the handoff from Jackson White, barrels his way up the gut. Fenton had a piece of him, but it's another rough shod gain of 8 as Bonatti drags 3 and 4 X-Men with him.
And even though the scoreline is what it is, these are still valuable reps for players on both sides, right? You talked about it next year, Mark. Trey Humes is going to graduate. Edward Wanati is going to get more carries. And the offensive linemen that are in there, they want to set themselves up to be starters next year. So, yeah, some people think this game is meaningless. It's not at all. Guys like Zach Fry up front are going to graduate on the offensive line, and the players that are in now want to try to solidify a starting spot here.
2nd and 3 Western. Bonatti on the ground. Stiff up. Caillouette and Schmeiler stick their noses into the fray. But this will be very close. Maybe just short by a football. You know, and Western is preparing for the Vanier Cup at this point, right? They're saving their great veterans. They're getting Bonatti some great reps. They don't know who they're going to play. Could be Montreal or Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan presents a very physical challenge should they get in. Montreal is loaded with talent.
You want to be as healthy as possible, clearly, and allow your starters to sit out there and get a jump start on some early rest.
Brian Garrity to attempt this field goal from the 32. It's up and good. So the Mustangs score their first points of this second half with lots of backups on the football field in this lopsided Mitchell-Moore. The JF sticker you're seeing on the Mustang helmets today recognizes 3 members of their family who passed away this year. Jason Fasano played linebacker at Western. He died in June of an undiagnosed heart condition. He was only 32. Jack Fairs worked at Western in phys ed and coaching for more than 50 years. He passed away at the age of 98 in August. And Captain Jack Frimith, was an assistant coach with the Mustangs since 2012. He worked with Greg Marshall for 20 years at both Western and McMaster. Lost his life in a canoeing accident this summer, and so it is with heavy hearts that the Mustang family recognize those 3 great members of this institution.
And he was based in Fergus, was actually a high school teacher, would drive over an hour to get to McMaster and even further to get to London to be a key part of Greg Marshall's staff.
First down X. Play action now as Fenyon throws downfield, and to his brother Isaac, makes the catch across the 45-yard line as Jackson Finley, the backup safety, makes the tackle.
The X-Men still fighting here. Fenyon across the middle. The brother connection really has been the straw that's kind of trying to stir the drink for the X-Men offense here. Little half roll, throw back against the grain on a curl route for a first down. You can see Western, though, even though it's the backups in there, still attacking the football. Paul Gleason has those boys rolling.
A gain of 12 on the brother-to-brother connection. Pressure now from the Mustangs. Silas gets away to Malcolm Bussey on the screen, and it's sniffed out as Devin Comber makes the tackle for a loss of 2 on the play. It's like they know the play before it comes out.
Exactly. I think the preparation is on point for Western. Even though it's the backup they're playing, they're still meticulous in what they're doing, and 31 make a big play on the screen.
Everybody's studying in the meetings. They get to the clubhouse around 2 p.m., don't leave until 9, so everyone that's there is clearly locked in.
And it's 7 hours of football every day. Get your schoolwork done by Sunday and Monday, and it's mostly football the rest of the week. There's Fenyon throwing downfield. It's incomplete. Intended for Benoit Cormier, who looks shaken up on the play. 3rd and 12 in a punt situation for the X-Men.
And the Western defense using that Bible that Gleason hands out. It's not just for the starters or guys like Danny Valente Jr., who was raving about it. It's for everybody on that defense. So it means when you cross that white line, you better be ready and prepared to play.
Max Capriotti stands at his own 31-yard line. High towering punt coming down the 30 to Seth Robertson. There's a flag down on the play. Likely be no yards against the X-Men. The X-Men have been underestimated all year. They were picked even in the AUS coaches poll to finish dead last. And here they go unbeaten. They're really ahead of schedule when you think that they were 2-6 and last in the last season before COVID in 2019.
They are, and Coach Waterman attributed that fact to being ahead of the schedule because of the COVID year off.
No yards. Sing effects. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And in the Atlantic bubble, they were able to practice 3 to 4 times a week, where on the other side, Western head coach Greg Marshall said they maybe got a handful of practices in less than double digits in 2020. So St. FX had a big development year and used it to their advantage.
Yeah, inside that Atlantic bubble, they were able to have in-school classes, and they had 70% of their players at practice every day.
That's a huge advantage for them, for sure.
Jackson White handing off to Edouard Wanadi. Look at the hole opened up for that Western running back. Twist and turning as Jay Turnsick finally makes the tackle. This is an award-winning, an all-star offensive line. Beamer, Grohovac, and Fry, first-team OUA All-Stars. Eric Anderson, a recruit, a rookie, was a second-team All-Star. Spencer Hood, a great veteran. This team controls the line of scrimmage.
This is the thing, and this is the thing in football. When you control the line of scrimmage, you're going to control the game, and this is what's going on with the rotation of the tailback and those guys moving people. You can see that this is Western football.
Now they've got some backups. Alex Berwick is in. Craig Coleman, play action as Jackson White is wrapped up. White takes a big shot.
55 again on the tackle, 55, 37, Makeo all. Hey, those guys that keep fighting, but they need to protect the edge. This is the thing. They try to get outside, 24, show presence, we'll call it outside, force him to come back inside, and 55, 72, all the X-Men guys on the tackle.
So Dylan Blackett making contact. Stuff that offensive series. Spencer Nichols now is in at running back. Nichols takes the handoff. He is wrapped up and hogtied. Gain of 3. Braden Martin, the defensive back, in to make the tackle as Western gives everybody a chance to carry the rock today.
That's what I was saying earlier. You put us back there, we might average 5 yards a carry, but literally you might as well get everyone involved to take off some of the physical toll to make sure guys are healthy as possible. You can see Spencer Nichols there, the H-back, getting a tote.
He only had 39 yards rushing during the season. No passes. Basically an H-back, a blocking back, a tight end in heavy situations, getting a chance on 3rd and 2 now. And the Mustangs will punt. Cam Creechin, Chatham rookie at midfield, just gets it away. Isaac Fenya back to return, but the punt sails out of bounds, close to the 20-yard line. So the X-Men back on offense and a chance to make something happen when we return. The X-Men sideline in what has been a rough day here in the Mitchell Bowl for them, but this is a team that has a great culture, a great bond, and a pipeline of athletes from Alberta. There's quite an interesting dynamic when it comes to this X ring. They say it is the 3rd most recognized ring next to the Papal ring and the Super Bowl ring. But when you graduate from St. FX, you get this ring. And in Alberta, there are so many teachers who have gotten Bachelor of Education degrees from St. FX and gone back to Alberta to teach. Many of these football players have told us this week they heard about St. FX in high school from their high school teachers, and it really began to open their minds about going east to a smaller school. And that's what we're seeing now. A good chunk of these players come from Alberta. They've chosen this small school of Antigonish to play their football and get their education. Malcolm Bussey carries the football here in the 3rd quarter. The outstanding rookie this season in the AUS, who's really found it tough going against this tough Western defense, facing many of their backups here in the 2nd half.
Yeah, he hasn't given up, though. Went to prep school in New Hampshire, was Gatorade Player of the Year there. And Mark, you alluded to this earlier, came back to St. FX over NCAA offers because his grandfather wore number 27, Ken Bussey.
Bussey with a gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Bussey gets the call. Western stacking up and pinching that box And he'll be about a yard short of the first down.
A big play by number 75, Alex Veilleux, 6'2", 261. Nice big pinch inside and go for the tackle.
Now they're going to spot the ball back. So it's 3rd and 2, and it looks like the punt team is coming out. But this kid, Bussy, you mentioned, the Gatorade Player of the Year, was playing prep school football in New Hampshire, had some Division I interest, but decided to come back to his grandfather Ken's school, wear his number 27, and this kid has a bright future.
Certainly does. Turn down Greg Marshall. Not too many running backs do that.
No. Capriati, a short punt to midfield. Seth Robertson makes the catch. Flag is down. This will likely be a 15-yard no yards penalty as Liam Wild makes the tackle. So Western will have great field position for their basically their second team offense.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing, ZFX is doing too much mistake right now on special teams, being too punt that we give 15 yards. And when you're playing Western, penalty going to cost you a lot.
Polo, Western has 121 players on their roster. They're so deep
Legal block,
that they're...
Western, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the penalty goes against Western for the illegal block. I'll get back to that story in a minute. There's the block there from behind. Little touch.
Yeah, little touch.
Two-hand touch here today.
Yeah, more than anything.
But Western is so deep, they have a scout team. Their third team offense could compete in the OUA. And Greg Marshall coaches the scout team offense. So he gives his defense a pretty good look at what they're about to face week after week. Here's Wanani on the ground. The number 3 running back bowling over the X defense for an 11-yard gain.
If you don't think these are meaningful rips, well, Edward Wainati's gonna show you, running with a mean streak, the physicality, right overhaul the linebacker. My goodness, and put the shoulder down, running through tackles, imposing his will.
Yeah, and the thing is on that play, hey, bad leverage and bad football position, the tailback just ran over him.
They're catching these tailbacks.
Exactly, instead of tackle them.
Final 2 minutes of the third quarter. Jackson White, the backup quarterback, in for the second half. Hands off to Wanati. Look at Wanati. Lower the boom. Turnsek makes the tackle, but Wanati is making these defenders from Andy Ganesh pay a price.
Exactly, but this is exactly what I'm talking. Look at this. I think the 37 gonna meet him in the hole, break the tackle, and keep going. We need to tackle better. We need to rally. We need to keep and tackle those in the legs.
Hall's feet stopped, right? In the hole, his feet stopped. Exactly. You stop your feet, especially against Western, you're asking to be run over.
Yeah.
3rd and inches as Spencer Nichols comes into the backfield.
Ready, go!
With Wanati. Wanati with the block from Nichols, and he'll have 5 or 6 easy yards and a first down for Western. If you think Wanati isn't thinking about next year and making an impression on his coaches, you got the wrong thing going.
You want to make sure that if next week they're gonna be the final, that the coach gonna think about him and give him the ball.
You know what? If they do run into that heavy team from Saskatchewan,
they're gonna need him.
They're gonna need him.
They're gonna need him.
They're gonna need 3 running backs that are gonna try to punish the Vanier Cup defense they will face.
Ready, go!
First down Mustangs. Wanati takes the handoff from Jackson White. White would just love to start throwing the ball, you'd think. He hasn't seen a lot of action, but Greg Marshall is playing fair here today.
White has his opportunities early in the season.
We'll take a break as we get set for the 4th and final quarter on this Christmas picture postcard day. Third down stats of the 2021 Mitchell Bowl, brought to you by Wilson, the official football of U Sports. An absolute dominating performance by the Mustangs with 482 yards in offense. As we go to the sidelines, here's Cigna with some special guests.
Well, thank you. Her Honor, Lois Mitchell, Doug Mitchell, former commissioner of the CFL, and of course we know we're talking about the Mitchell Bowl today. You braved the cold weather. I know it's maybe not a tight score line like we would have wished, but I have to ask you about university football. You know, this game has really improved over the years.
Yeah, it has. It's been great. I think that sports is so important at university level, and particularly have an opportunity to play in a team sport. And you learn an awful lot about business, about life, and about marriage when you're playing a team sport.
I love that analogy. That's perfect. Lois, on that note, your family is very involved in youth sports, and why is it so important for your family to be involved with youth sports?
Well, youth sports is amazing. It really is. Doug and I both feel so strongly about how important it is for a university to have these sports. And I mean, it's all been proven that people that play, whether they really are good on a team or not, but they do give back to the universities. So we're all about that whole thought about the alumni that carries on, makes a huge difference. Look at the alumni, what they've done here. This is why we love alumni, but a lot of people that have been involved in sports, they do give more. It's been known.
Well, thank you so much for your support of student athletes in this country, and we'll send it back up to the booth.
Yes, Cigna, so great to see the Mitchells. They've been so generous to this sport and so many others in this country. As we get underway here in the fourth quarter, the Mustangs with all three of their backup offensive linemen in the game. Wanati, the number 3 running back, continues to audition for what he hopes will be the number 1 job on this football team.
Certainly, and you never know, because Keon Edwards, the starter and the guy that was the Yates Cup MVP last week, scored 3 touchdowns, told us this week, hey, I know there's guys that are talented behind me. And Greg Marshall even said, Edwards isn't actually the most talented guy on the roster.
Yeah.
He's just the best running back right now. So if you're Wanati, you're thinking, hey, I want to set myself up to get more carries in the Vanier Cup, earn that trust from Greg Marshall going into next season, because if he's talking about Wanati potentially being Jesse Lumsden-esque, that tells you what he feels about his ability.
Remember what Keon Edwards said? Here's preaching to punt. He said, Marshall always has someone ready to go. There are lots of kids on the scout team who will run this league one day. So there's so much push from behind that if you're a starter, you better perform.
Western.
You're not just going to be a starter because you were one the week before, and I think this game shows it, right? It's Trey Humes with 3 touchdowns, not Keon Edwards. Part of that is because they like to keep the guys fresh in the backfield, but also part of it is the talent that is on the roster.
And witness what happened at quarterback. You got a third-year veteran lose his job in week 3 of the season to a rookie, and that has not changed.
You're always a good team when there's competition inside of your team.
Preaching to punt from the X50. Isaac Finya tracking the ball down. He'll have it at the 10 and step out of touch. So the X-Men will have first down at their own 11-yard line. It's been a tough field position all afternoon as they try to negotiate this backup Western defense.
The key and the playoff football. Field position, run the clock, protect the ball, no turnover. This is what Western is showing us right now. This is the key to win football games in playoff.
This young quarterback in his first season as a starter, all the way from small town Bonnyville, Alberta, a Tier 3 high school program. He didn't start playing high school until he was in high school in grade 11. He was homeschooled until grade 11. He goes to his brother Isaac. He breaks a tackle. Isaac Finya takes a big shot, but gets to the 25-yard line. Jordan Murphy makes the tackle, a 13-yard pickup and a first down.
And for the Finya brothers, hockey was actually their first love. Silas played until he was 8 years old. And you mentioned the homeschooling aspect. They went to high school to get more socialization. And the population of that town in Bonnyville, 6,000. So a true small town in our country.
They had to go to places like Cold Lake just to get enough players to put a football team together. And that makes it more impressive that they've made it to the U Sports level as starting athletes from Tier 3 high school. And of course, Isaac played a couple of years of junior football with the Wildcats program at Edmonton before coming to the AUS.
That's right, a little older. Isaac 24, Silas 21. They brought them finally getting to play together on the same team and making it all the way to a national semifinal.
Silas, the second younger of 5 brothers, has 1 sister in that family. But he had to keep up. He was going to play with Isaac and Jeremy and the older boys. He goes to his brother again. Isaac Fenya makes the catch and heads upfield. Jordan Murphy in on the tackle. But this fraternal connection through the air begins to heat up here in the 4th quarter.
And you mentioned Silas needing to keep up. Well, he's heating up here on the field, but literally they would play 2-on-2 football in the front yard in Bonnyville against each other. And Silas, being the youngest one of those 4 brothers, had to step up his game to make sure his team wasn't at a disadvantage.
And they didn't give him any breaks either.
No way.
So the Fenya brothers with some connections on this drive. First down. They'll go back to the ground. Malcolm Bussey with some high stepping. He takes a big shot from Devin Comber. But they're the 3 Fenyans who've played at St. FX. Jeremy was a defensive back, and he's now an assistant coach with the team. And it was Jeremy being at the school that got Isaac interested. And then Silas said, look, we're so far apart in age. I mean, there's 3 years between Isaac and Silas. This is the only place we'll ever play it. And so here we go. The Fenyan brothers authoring this sibling story, an unbeaten season until they run into the Mustangs here today in the national semifinals. And they're moving the ball. Bussey will move the sticks again as the X-Men look for a moral victory here in the 4th quarter.
You certainly need to have as many positives as you can to end this season. You want to show some fight. Coach Waterman talked about it at halftime, and this offense certainly has in the second half. They've looked much different from that group that came out to start the game.
Remember, this Western defense shut out Queens last week in the Yates Cup. The first Yates Cup shutout in 50 years. Now, the goalpost had something to do with it, but still, it was a dominant performance. Ball is away and complete. Knox makes the carry, or rather Connor Ross makes the catch.
Vignon throwing it low and away. Big target there, Ross.
No catch.
Trying to go down and scoop it up. Referee Mark Lee says, no, wave it off. I'm with you, you're right.
Defensive pass interference.
But he gets a PI, so
spot foul,
there you go.
I don't think Coach Polo liked that call.
Not agree at all, but it's okay, I guess, part of the game, and when those guys are calling the call, I guess we get to agree, I guess.
We don't have to.
There's Paul Gleason, the defensive coordinator and guru of this impressive Western defense. Puts in enormous hours to get his team prepared every week. Silas Fenya loading up, going deep downfield for his brother Isaac, a jump ball, and it's incomplete.
Silas is going to want that throw back. Vignon was breaking free down the middle of the field. It looked like a seam or maybe skinny post route. There was nobody else out there. If Vignon throws that more to the left-hand side of your screen, that's a touchdown ball. Silas is going to want that play back because now that the football was thrown on the wrong shoulder, it becomes an incompletion.
Yeah, I think it's the first time today that we see a St. FX receiver by himself. Most of the time, they're always doubles. It's the first time that we see a wide receiver alone.
Second down. Silas will roll, throwing to the near sideline. It's complete. Ben Harrington making the catch. The second-year student in the business program at St. FX in his first season as a starter.
Vignon, the half roll. He's looked fairly comfortable here today throwing on the run. That's a wide field shot, little sit-down route in that cover 3 double hold with the corners high to play the deep zones that Western loves to run.
X moving, ball is away, and looked like it may have been tipped. It's incomplete. Intended for Benoit Cormier.
Just a misfire from Silas Fignon, but pressure in his face right off the edge. That's what caused the incompletion. Bowers, Kane, Lorenz there in a hurry in purple.
2nd and 10 for the X. Ball at the 35 of Western. Here comes pressure from the Mustangs. Vanier can't get the ball away, loses it. Takes a big hit on the play on the blitz from Rory Kelly, the Acadia transfer.
Yeah, it's been a couple snaps that you can see that Western was a little bit soft in the coverage, and I think that they see that it was time to bring the pressure, and ZFX never answer for it all day. When they bring pressure, something always happens.
Rory Kelly comes through a free gap screaming at Silas Fignon. He didn't see him coming because he was looking to the left side, the wide side of the field.
That's Paul Gleason football. Just when you think you're moving the ball, he comes up with a little wrinkle and blitzes Kelly, the 5th-year player who transferred from the Axemen this season. Capriati with the field goal attempt from the 42, and it is good. Max Capriati puts some more points on the board for this downtrodden St. FX Axemen football club. We're back at Western Alumni Stadium in the 4th and final quarter of this one-sided 2021 Mitchell Bowl. The AUS just not able to measure up with the OUA champions here today. 54-6. Western playing most of its backups here in the second half. Eating up the clock. Trying to get this game over with and get on with the road to the Vanier Cup. Here it is. The handoff to Edouard Bonatti, who has shouldered the load at running back after Trey Humes and Keon Edwards got the second half off. If you look at the numbers from this big running attack, 6 touchdowns on the ground from these 3 backs, and Bonatti at 189 yards rushing. The other 2, Humes and Edwards, just shy of the century mark, but not playing in the second half.
20 carries for Wanati is him getting his opportunity to show that he can shoulder the load in a big-time game, potentially for the future.
Injured X-Men being helped off the field.
Mikhail Hall, a transfer
Mikhail
from
Hall,
Carleton
yes.
University.
One of your former linebackers.
Yeah.
Polo.
Yes, dynamic linebacker that's playing with St. FX right now.
2nd and 1. Mustangs with Wanati going all the way here in the second half. Wanati will take the handoff, break a tackle in the backfield, and make 4 yards on the play as Jay Turnsek makes the tackle. They had him in the backfield, Polo.
Yeah, they have him, man. He break the tackle, make 52 mix, number 3 miss. So he's a force. He's under a rhythm right now, and the O-line is making some space for him.
Arm tackles are not going to bring number 9 to the turf. Wainati breaking tackles, turning out tough yards.
Gain of 5, first down. Mustangs. Jackson White, the backup quarterback, going the whole way here in the second half for Evan Gillick. Now White gets a chance to throw wide open downfield. And it's complete to Griffin Campbell. Campbell was gone if the ball was there, but it held up.
Easy play action. You could see that gave Graydon Campbell a lot of space in the back end. Jackson White, that ball flutters and hangs up in the air. Needed to be more on a line to Griffin Campbell. Had to wait for it to come down. Certainly could have been a touchdown.
Not only this, good setup. Since the second half, they didn't throw the ball. So that the DBs were sleeping, so we take a shot, and hey, big plays.
Griffin Campbell, the 4th-year student out of London, can really stretch the field. That's a 33-yard pickup. First down Western inside the X30. Wainati, play action. Here goes White. Big quarterback. Step out of bounds. He's a big man at 6'4", 225. Was up to 250 at one point before dropping some pounds coming into this season. So gain of 8 on the play.
Clearly comfortable on the run, but we see him flash that arm strength a little bit on the last completion. White getting valuable reps because you never know what can happen. You got to be ready to go whenever you're called upon if that happens in the Vanier Cup.
Spencer Nichols brings the play in from the sidelines. 2nd and 2. Ball at the X20. Wainati takes the handoff, full speed ahead, and he'll have the first down easily. Nicholas Schmeiler makes the tackle after a gain of 5 on the play by Edouard Wainati, the rookie out of Montreal, studying at King's College here at Western.
Using that 6'2", 200-pound frame to lean forward. I really like the body type and the way that he's been running the rock today.
He's hungry. He wants the ball.
Does he? Shown it up well over 20 carries now and looks like he's still fresh.
Mustangs in the red zone. First down. Wainati takes the ball. Sidesteps a tackler, takes a shot, breaks more tackles. He's in the end zone. Touchdown. 14-yard touchdown for Edouard Wainati in the limelight with the starters home and cooled on the sideline.
Wainati swimming there or galloping, whatever they're doing in the end zone. He's earned it, putting all of his skills on full display right here. A little jump cut in the hole to find the seam, the burst to get to the second level, running through tackles into the end zone. What a dynamic running back that Greg Marshall has uncovered. Yet another one in a long line of Western runners.
Point after from Garrity is good. Edouard Wainati makes contact with no fewer than 6 ex-defenders, barreling his way to the end zone.
6 can't even get him down. You can see here just their basic zone play. Was supposed to go to the left. He turns it back right down Broadway, barrels his way into the end zone. What time is it? Another touchdown time for Wainati.
Wainati time as he pinballs his way to the end zone, putting on a show here in the second half, getting all the carries as Western calls off the Dogs in the Mitchell Bowl. Edward Wanabe, the number 3 running back in this vaunted Western ground game, is putting up eye-popping numbers here in the second half. It's his first touchdown of the football game as he runs roughshod over this X defense in a 61-6 lead right now. It's 3 touchdowns for Wanabe. 3 touchdowns for Wanabe. Let's do the math. 3 for Wanabe, 3 for Humes, and 1 for Edwards. Total of 7 on the ground. Is that right?
Creighton Campbell is one of his own through the air.
And Campbell
How about Western, though? And Garrity.
Garrity.
Pooch on the kickoff.
Pooch kickoff.
Senior backs scrimmage from 40-yard line.
Legal kickoff.
Next week, maybe?
That's the only thing I can see.
So 3 touchdowns each for Wanati and Humes, 1 for Edwards, but only 7 carries for Humes in this football game, 10 for Edwards, and then the big load in the second half to Wanati for 23. Connor Ross comes back to the ball, makes the catch at the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 5 on the play for the X-Men. Second and 5.
Offense still out there battling. Silas Vigna still in the game. They've not subbed out, at least at the skill positions. Bussy out there, his brother Isaac Vigna out there, Ben Cormier. Those skill guys still fighting it out to the end.
Silas Vigna, first-year starter, under pressure, gets the ball away. It's complete to his brother Isaac. A gain of 15 on the play, and a next first down. Jordan Murphy on the tackle for Western.
Silas Vigna gaining confidence against the Western zone defense that they typically run on first down. You got to find those little areas in between the linebackers, especially in the middle of the field. That was a confident throw from the quarterback.
Ready, go!
Hand off to Malcolm Bussy. Bussy bouncing it outside, gets a block from his receiver. He'll have first down yardage and more as he lowers the boom on Jordan Murphy and is finally stopped at the 30-yard line of the Mustangs.
Bussy with by far his longest run of the day. Gets to the outside, no edge defender there for Western, and you can see the receivers trying to block for him downfield. He's even outrunning them, showing you a little bit of his burst that so many people saw out on the Atlantic coast during the regular season and Loney Bowl.
First down, X-Men at the Western 30-yard line. Western brings pressure again. The ball is away to Cormier and is broken up. Rory Kelly, the veteran from Moncton, got his hand on it. Some of the backup Hoggies from that big, powerful Western O-line as we hit the 3-minute warning here in the Mitchell Bowl. Mustangs now looking ahead. They'll get a chance to get some rest tonight. We'll run through tomorrow and begin the plan for the Vanier Cup. Vigna throwing for the end zone, deep downfield, and a mix-up there. His brother Isaac was the intended receiver. He broke the route off.
Isaac Vigna breaking to the corner. It looked like Silas Vigna felt like he was going to break to the post. Simple miscommunication there.
But I think the pressure also changed. I think probably what happened to the quarterback mind. The pressure in his face changes the route.
Here comes the Mitchell Bowl. The RCMP in their red surge, bringing this great trophy into Western's Alumni Stadium. The presentation to the hometown Mustangs in the offing. Here's Vigna again, through the air. Oh, a great pass in and out of the hands of Zachariah Karim on that third down effort. Karim not in the game on that one.
He was thinking touchdown there. If he catches that ball, he might be getting into the end zone, but you can't go anywhere if you don't have the ball in your possession. So close to being the first touchdown of the day for St. FX.
Yeah, like a concentration of that play. You should finish this one, touch it, catch it, and finish the play.
Cormier was there too. There looked like too many receivers in the same spot. That may have thrown off Kareem.
Exactly. I feel like they have two receivers in the same area, so probably there's a miscommunication between the two receivers. But hey, you should finish regardless what is the reason.
So X turns over the ball on downs as Bonatti continues to carry the football. Short gain on the play. Brandon Martin making the tackle in the secondary for X, but how often have we said that today where the Western running backs are getting tackled by the secondary? They get that deep into the defense.
That's how good the offensive line has been overall. They've just been resetting the line of scrimmage, working to second level, and allowing their running backs a lot of times not even to get touched until they get to the third level.
This offense has been, this offensive line has been really the story of this football game. The way they have controlled the line of scrimmage, they have pushed the ex-linemen right into their linebackers, forcing the defensive backs to make the play. And this will be close to a first down. Gain of 5 on the play for Wanati. They'll be just short. So they'll be third down and 1. This Western offensive line now deep into their backups controlled this football game with this traditional Western running game that wears teams down, but they wore down the X-Men in the opening quarter. Bonatti stays at running back. 2 minutes to go in the football game. He'll take the ball, lowers his shoulder. Got to give the X-Men defense credit. They haven't quit. Pushing and shoving behind the play. And we can now tell you the Nike players of the game will go to the starting offensive line for the Western Mustangs. They get the credit here today. They will get the glory after that impressive running performance this afternoon.
You can see the big boys up front, left to right. Eric Anderson, Spencer Hood, Elliot Beamer. We talked about the leader of the group at center, makes a lot of the calls and checks. Phil Grayevac and big Zach Fry at right tackle there. And even the backups have done yeoman's work.
Nike team, the official performance apparel of U Sports. Just do it. Brandon Martin with an interception. The first turnover of this football game generated by this X defense. Martin, the rookie from Melfort, Saskatchewan.
Just the second pass attempt from Jackson White gets intercepted there. Had the completion earlier to Graydon Campbell, but that one well behind his receiver.
Good job at the defensive back right there. Stay with his read, keep fighting. They don't quit. I'm going to give them credit on the defensive side. They want to still playing, and they're going to play every down like it's the last one.
No question about that, Coach Polo. This team is showing heart in the dying minutes of this football game. Chance to maybe put some final points on the board. Cormier reaching back for that pass, and he's got it. Benoit Cormier with a terrific snag. Gain of 7 on the play.
Cormier reaching back against the grain to make that stab. The leading receiver in the AUS during the regular season, picking one out for his quarterback.
Second and 3. Ball at the Western 35 for the X-Men. Trying to finish this game with a score. Here comes pressure from Western. Vigneault downfield. It's intercepted. Jackson Findlay has the football as he returns it for Western down the sideline. He's got an escort. And finally the quarterback, Silas Vigneault, puts him down to the turf with gusto. Some frustration there. But Jackson Findlay ends any hope of a final score by the X-Men.
Silas Vigneault looking for a deep shot down the middle post route, but does not see the safety. Finley ranging over, and again, we got to credit Paul Gleason, the defensive coordinator, coaching up these players. It looked like Finley was peeking over there a little bit, anticipating that throw, ranges over, makes the play.
Jackson Finley, the rookie from Vancouver, with the highlight of his Mitchell Cup in the final minute of play. The Mustangs here to run the clock down. Last football game for Ben von Muhldorfer's decorated career, 4 national semifinals. He came to play. He was in on every play. He's a great leader. He'll be remembered in Antigonish.
Yeah, and he played a tough game, man. It's sad for that cat because he give St. FX everything today. He leave it on the football field. It was on every run play, every pass play. It was there. Even on special team, I think it was there. So they give the 55 gives everything to that program, and that speaks a lot about the kid.
Another graduating player, Dezane Brooks from Hamilton in his 5th season. Disconsolate with the outcome here today. But one thing you can credit St. FX with is their will to win, their fight, the fact that they kept fighting, kept playing hard, despite the margin that they were down by early. Greg Marshall will head his Mustangs to the Vanier Cup for a record 15th time and await the winner of Saskatchewan and Montreal. Clock will tick to 0. Mustangs, Antonio Valvano, the graduating 5th-year man, takes a knee. And Marshall and Gleason have done it again. They're headed back to the Vanier Cup, winning the 2021 Mitchell Bowl by a massive margin. And the brothers, the von Muhldorfer brothers, embracing at midfield. Ben, the veteran, and his brother Max. And there are tears and great emotions as these young men embrace. The end of the road for Ben, and just the beginning for Max. Well, we knew that Western was the Goliath, the heavy favorites. We didn't think that they would run through this X team the way they did in that opening half. Their starters making swift work of any kind of defense thrown up by St. FX.
Trey Humes got it going, 7 carries, 90 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He literally needed just 7 carries to break the game open. Now, that was largely due in part to our players of the game, the Western offensive line, but Humes was a major factor early on. Then we saw a sprinkle of the other back, Keon Edwards, who's the nation's leading rusher, but sort of played third fiddle here today to Trey Humes and Edward Wainati.
What about the mismatch in these two conferences? I mean, coming into this game, the last 3 national semifinals, the score was 182-3 against the AUS, and here they get beaten up badly again today. What can be done to try to, I don't know, bring more strength and parity to the situation?
Yeah, Isaac Vigneault called Western a giant, so I think we need to look at rejigging how the national semifinal teams are decided. You want to have the best 4 teams in the country competing to showcase off the sport. That's no slight against the AUS because the conferences have gone in waves, right? We've seen where the AUS was strong way back in the mid-2000s, and in the 1990s it was St. Mary's that was a powerhouse program. But we need to find a way, get everybody together, have a football summit among all of the schools to make sure that when you play down here, there are not scorelines like this.
Western came out of COVID with this spectacular effort this year, with a rookie quarterback at the helm, veterans at key positions. And for Greg Marshall, he's got one of his best teams ever right here, right now.
He does. He really likes these guys. You could see the emotion on him last week during the Yates Cup Trophy presentation. A guy like Antonio Valvano that's meant so much to the program. That's why he's kneeling down the game and finishing it out, because he's a real leader. Marshall absolutely loves his guys and is part of the culture that he's built there. He's going to be tough on you, but he's also going to help you out.
Yeah, but I think, you know what, I think it's the first time I saw Greg with a lot of emotion like this. Like, he seemed to enjoy, he seemed to enjoy where where Western is as a program. And I think that this is the thing that we can give him credit. Year after year after year, he's putting that program on the map.
All right, let's go to the field level, and here's Cigna.
Mark, thank you so much. Mark, thank you to you guys, and Elliot Beamer, captain of the O-line. I know you guys gave that to the entire O-line today. You're going to the Vanier Cup. First question for you. How does that feel?
Feels amazing. You know, some of us have been there before, a lot of us haven't, and we're excited for the trip. Honestly, we've been planning to just play another week, and now we've got it. It's one more week with all of our teammates, and couldn't be more excited.
7 rushing touchdowns for you guys today, a dominant performance. Can you talk about the guys that you are part of, this family on the O-line?
It's the tightest knit group that I've been a part of during my time at Western. We do everything together, and you know, as long as we're on track and we stay physical, it just always works out.
Well, we don't know who you're going to play yet, and I guess you probably don't care either one, but can you talk about Western football and what this team has done this season?
It's coming from the years that we've had and all of the adversity that, you know, everyone's played in football. This team and this season feels, all I can describe it as a feeling of generosity and a feeling of gratitude, because some of us, you know, didn't know if we'd be back. Some of us didn't know what it would be like. And to have a season like this where everyone's on the same page and everyone is doing their very best, it just means the world to everyone.
Elliot, I'll let you enjoy the trophy celebration. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Elliot Beamer and the O-line get the glory today. The Nike players of the game. Nike Team, the official performance apparel of U Sports. Just do it. We're back to decorate the champions when we return to London, Ontario.
Welcome back to the 2021 Mitchell Bowl, 61-6. That's the final. Western going to the Vanier Cup. And look at these final stats brought to you by Wilson, the official football of U Sports. 432 yards rushing for the Mustangs.
That's why the players of the game were collectively the offensive line. A simply dominating performance from Western up front.
All right, let's get to the stage now, and public address announcer Gary Lyons to present the trophy.
By number 62, Elliot Beamer. The defensive player of the game for the Mustangs, number 23, Daniel Valente Jr. I'd like to call up the captains of the Western Mustangs. And please welcome Doug Mitchell to present the 2021 Mitchell Bowl Championship Trophy, and Dick White to the 2021 Mitchell Bowl banner. To the captains of the Mitchell Bowl winner champions, your Western Mustangs!
S'il vous plaît, veuillez accueillir Doug Mitchell pour présenter les récipiendaires 2021 de la Coupe Mitchell et Dick White pour la présentation de la bannière au capitaine des vainqueurs de la Coupe Mitchell, vos Mustangs 2021.
Antonio Valvano, the 5-year football player, 8 years at Western, 5 years of football, helping to hoist the Mitchell Bowl with his teammates here today, along with 5th-year veteran Nick Terrio. So the outgoing graduating seniors at the center of this celebration, a familiar sight once again in Southern Ontario.
Lots of trophies have been lifted at Western's Alumni Field. Add another one to the trophy case there, and fitting that the 5th-year seniors are the one carrying it off the stage.
Well, they continue the great tradition that Western have, so is winning and dominate the OUA. So next week they have a big game, the last one, but the tougher one, I think.
Yes, the winner of Saskatchewan and Montreal will play the Western Mustangs in the Vanier Cup 1 week from today in Quebec City. The Mustangs have it all. A powerful ground game, a quarterback with a great arm, and a defense that denies everybody. The ground game on full display here today. 3 running backs, Humes, Edwards, Wanati, running roughshod over the X-Men. Overmatched on this day, but a team on the rise in the AUS. For Justin, Coach Polo, Signa, and our entire crew, I'm Mark Lee saying thanks for watching, and so long from the Mitchell Bowl.